what would you use to urge people to come see you guys play?
Yeah, come out and see us play. It's amazing. Like Riley said, we're in the Cotton Bowl. There is so much history um in that little, not little, it's a big stadium, but there's so much history that is in the ground there, and I think it's very important to see more history being created, which is with us at Dallas Trinity.
Hello, welcome to the United Soccer Lounge. My name is Riley James. Today on the program, Lauren Lapomarda joins the show, a Texas legend. 102 appearances in 5 years for the Texas Longhorns. Champion of the Big 12 and champion of the SEC. Got one on the way out, got one as soon as they arrived. Walk in yo trap, take over yo trap, as a poet once said. Makes the move to Italy for her first professional contract to play for Parma, and now she is back home as a native of Prosper, Texas, just down the road in Dallas at the Cotton Bowl. We're super thankful to welcome her to the program. We talk about all of that and a little bit more on today's show. If you like this show, you can subscribe to it, the United Soccer Lounge on Goals.tv or Goals TV on YouTube. So with that being said, let's get to the interview with Lauren. Joining the show now is a woman who, when you think of Texas, you might as well think of her. 102 appearances for the Longhorns. You gotta hook them, right? Am I doing it
Okay.
right?
Yeah, it's perfect. I love it. Execution.
A quick trip out to Italy for some experience, but she is back home, a native of Prosper, Texas, playing for the Dallas Trinity. Please welcome to the show, Lauren Lapomarda. Lauren,
Thank
thank you so much for joining the show. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much for having me. I'm super excited. Can't wait.
Now, if someone saw me do that, the hook 'em, right? You guys are now in the SEC, and I'm from Louisiana, so it's tougher these days now that you're not in the Big 12. But I'll make an exception just for you. But
Thank
it's been quite the job researching you. Obviously, a stellar college career. You make
you.
your way to Italy, and now you're back home near Prosper, Texas, playing in the very heart of Dallas, Texas, in the Cotton Bowl. We have a lot to get to today, but I'll start with the first couple of games. Dallas, nice little homestand to start the year. What has those game days been like, just to get your feet wet, to be in Dallas, to wear that uniform, to be back in a place you seemingly love so much?
Oh, it's been electric. It's been exciting. It's been fun, and it's just kind of like a surreal moment because I'm back home near family and friends, and they get to come see me once again. And I think that's just a special thing to have. And and Dallas is Dallas. It's my hometown. It's beautiful. I absolutely love it. And to get to do it with like friends that I've either played against or played with again is just a very special moment and just like a full circle moment.
Now, I was in the Cotton Bowl earlier in 2025. The great folks at the Trinity set us up with a fantastic couple of shows. We interviewed the folks from Brooklyn, and then later in the day, we interviewed Allie Thornton, who is now your teammate with the Dallas Trinity. In the very wonderful Cotton Bowl, a place that has so much history. It's 95 years old. It's been filled with some of the biggest sporting events in the world, including World Cup matches and Super Bowls and the Dallas Trinity.
Heck
So
yeah.
to play in that stadium, to understand the history of this marvel of Americana, what's that been like as someone who is from that area and who has probably been to that stadium before?
I think it's amazing. I being able to, step back and look at the stands and the fans and just kind of enjoy the moment because there was once legends or legends in the making at that stadium, and I think it's really important and cool to honor them, but also honor ourselves as a team that we're creating history. We are the first Dallas women's team well, sorry, we're the first women's team for soccer in Dallas, and I think it's so huge how we're creating history, but also etching our names into that stadium with other legends. So I think it's just a very cool moment, and I'm so grateful I get to do it in the state of Texas, specifically Dallas.
And we'll circle back to this at the end of the show, but it was so amazing to be there and see so many girls in the crowd and so many families in the crowd that are watching professional women's soccer in Dallas. with a team that is representative of the Dallas area, and it's amazing. And you have Atletico Dallas coming out on the men's side that's going to play in the same Cotton Bowl, and
Yep.
FC Dallas down the road. But like soccer's been in Dallas, but to see women's soccer do well in Dallas has been so rewarding for someone who is not. I'm 5 hours down the road. Like this is not a foreign place to me. So it's amazing. But we'll circle back. You're from Prosper.
I am from Prosper.
Can
Small town,
you
big heart.
can you give us a little bit of like geographical reference for where Prosper is? I know it's a suburb, but what is your relationship to Dallas proper?
So when we are saying, when I meet somebody and they're like, where are you from? And I always say Dallas because Dallas is the hot spot. It's
Right.
everybody knows exactly where that is. But for me, I'm in the suburbs. I'm far north of Dallas, just a little past Frisco. You miss, I believe, like McKinney's to the right of us. You have Salina behind us, so that's kind of where Prosper is on the maps. It's now booming a lot, but when I first moved there and living there, it was very small. We probably only had two stoplights.
We get two stoplights in the where the studio is right now. Um, that's so funny. So is it just north of like Collin County, like in that
Yes,
area? Perfect.
exactly.
Hey, look at us. I know geography.
Look at, yeah, how I say geography, just because I'm trying to look up things. I always say map history for me.
I mean, Dallas is a cool place. If you've never been to Dallas, I'd recommend going to Dallas. And when you're in town, go see the Trinity at the very illustrious and historic Cotton Bowl. But growing up in Prosper, we kind of mentioned it a while ago. You don't have a lot of women's soccer references to look at in that particular area. So, who did you look up to, and what drew you to the game in the first place?
Yeah. When you say look up to, do you mean people or like teams?
Like
Or
what
both?
what was your inspiration? Because there's not a lot to go see in person. So was it through television? Was it through like what who did you look up to, and what was the medium that you saw them?
Yeah, I think through television, because obviously down the street you have FC Dallas, and they're a phenomenal club. But for me, tapping into my women's side and also seeing international side, my role models for me was Crystal Dunn on the women's side, and then Charles Puyo on the men's side for Spain. I just really admired their passion for the game, their tenacity. They would tack the ball, but they also had leadership and composure. And as a defender, that's really what you want. You don't want to be scared of the ball. You want to tack the ball. You want to do as much as you can to keep that ball from going into your back net, but put it in their back of the net. So, and I think those two really showcased those qualities that I really loved as an individual and continue to love.
Can I tell you why I love Crystal Dunn?
Yeah, hit me with it.
So she is primarily, at least in the club level, for a long time she was a forward.
Yep.
But what was demanded of her in the national team to be in that squad was to be a fullback. A lot of the time she played in a defensive role. And the versatility is great, but the leadership and the selflessness to go back into a position that was relatively unfamiliar to her in a
Yep.
place that she did not prefer to play in, but she did it for the national team. So I've always looked up to Crystal Dunn for that same reason.
Yeah.
Because it takes a lot to be a professional defender, especially when you're not not native to you. You're used to scoring the goals as opposed to defending it. So
Defended my, yeah.
that's a great answer. I love that.
Yeah, she's awesome. I agree with that 100%. Like she put her head down and worked, and she had a lot of respect as a forward, and then coming back as a defender, like you said, it's unfamiliar, but she was like, you know what, I'm gonna work hard, and I think that's what just shows what being a great teammate as well is. Like no questions asked, you're getting it done, and I think that's very important and awesome on her part. So yeah, I love her. She's great.
And just to see her come back after childbirth and to still be in the team, still have a incredible impact in the Women's World Cup in 2023. It's been so cool to see
It
what
is.
she's been able to do. So that's great. And you were able to channel those influences into getting a scholarship to play for the University of Texas. Again, you can throw up the hook'em.
Oh,
And
no.
that's going to be fantastic to take a screenshot of. Um, something I think is so interesting, and you're probably the team that you did it with is probably the last team that's ever going to have this statistic. You won the Big 12
Yes.
and the SEC without transferring colleges.
Without transferring.
That is an incredible feat that I don't think we talk about enough. So I'm that's gonna be a trivia question down the line somewhere. But I mean, you had some great moments
Thank
in
you.
that burnt orange, the double overtime goal. You scored goals against Oklahoma and like a defender scoring goals is always a fantastic thing, but to do it in the positions that you did in massive moments. When you look back at the 5 years at Texas, what do you take away from that the most, and how did that prepare you to be a professional?
I think when I look back, wow, that's a great question, by the way.
Thank you. It's
That's
I went
awesome.
to school to do this. I didn't play soccer in college. I went to class and did the journalism stuff because I wasn't good enough to play the soccer.
No, you never know. You can always give yourself a shot. You don't shoot yourself short. I have full faith in you and believe in you.
Well, it was the coaches that shot me short. They,
But that's okay. Sometimes that happens. You just keep on working, and you'll strive and get your goal.
but yeah, I am curious, like how did Texas like prepare you for this? Because it's a great university and it's put a lot of dudes into the NFL, and we've seen that from the or the athletic side, but from the women's soccer perspective, how has that helped you prepare for this time in Dallas?
Yeah, for so my 5 years being at Texas, the moments that I think really prepared me was the small victories, whether it's acts of kindness, doing one more rep with a team, and it's just having other teammates and your coach as itself push you to be better and prepare you. Like if you do it this way, it might not be the way it is in professional realm. So you need to start training like a professional. You need to start acting like a professional. And like shout out to Angela Kelly. She did such a phenomenal job of installing that mentality of you need to be professional everywhere you go. You need to be respectful. You need to be have courtesy. You just need to hold yourself to a higher standard, but with confidence. And having that confidence transferred over into professional realm, I think has been an easy transition because, like you said, being at the University of Texas, we are given so many resources that you have to use them. You cannot just pass up on them. And I think attending the University of Texas, there's a saying, and I might butcher it, so I apologize, but it says, "The timid is for the weak." But at the University of Texas, we aren't the weak. We are selected for greatness, and I think that's so important to have in yourself, but also as your team, that they're willing to do whatever it takes to make you your best self. And having that in professional realm has been awesome. Dallas Trinity has installed that as well and has put us all, for me and my teammates, at our higher standard and our higher self, which I think is huge and very appreciative.
And obviously, I mean, like I mentioned with Texas and the football side, and we've seen so many athletes go on with the Texas way and go and have success at their chosen sport. We've seen a lot of women soccer players go and have success from the University of Texas. And it's a growing number, right? The program's getting better, and you join the SEC, which is a competitive conference, not to say the Big 12 isn't, but more resources, like you mentioned. The SEC is it's got a lot of money,
It
and
just
so
means more.
it just means more, right? And the University of Texas is not lacking for money by any means, but just to have more resources available to you, and it's amazing. You bring Oklahoma with you, and you join back up with Texas A&M, the teams that you probably don't like at all. And I love the only see, and this is the Louisiana issue of it all. The
I got
thing
you.
I find most endearing about Texas is that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and we hate Texas A&M. So the fact that
Yep,
you guys probably do as well makes us, friends in the short term at the very least. But I'm curious, tactically, you grew a lot in college.
yes.
Balancing those moments of going forward and scoring those goals in the big moments versus your responsibility defensively. How are you able to balance that, and how do you feel like you're bringing that to the professional realm?
Yeah, I think balancing your defensive responsibilities is very important and huge because as a defender, you never want to just go up for fun and then leave everybody behind and it's individual. It comes down to being together as a team and together as one. So, for example, if there were numbers up, if we were numbers up, it was an opportunity for me as an outside back specifically to creep in and help offensively because of soccer IQ or technical abilities that I was given. But however, if we weren't numbers up, then I had to make the decision: do I stay or do I go? And majority of the time, I stayed because we want to be numbers up. We want to have that balance as a back line, but also with our midfield and our forward line. So kind of just having soccer IQ, having the personnel around you, and communicating like, hey, I'm going up, or showing your actions and finding those moments. So there was a lot of balancing. My first couple years, still knew I was mainly focused on defense because like I said, I didn't want them going in the back of the net. But as I've grown older and hopefully wiser, I started realizing I am very technical as an individual. So maybe I can contribute and help my team in any way possible because that's what I'm here for. It's team before me, and whatever I can help the team first before I help myself is what I'm going to do. And that's what I'm trying to install and hopefully help with Dallas Trinity. And the team has been so great and so confident in me, but also within each other, that we have the personnel, we have the talent to do things like this. And we're as we've grown, each and every one of us from our college to now, you can see the trust and just the excitement, and it's just awesome. It's really cool to see from college to professional.
I cringed a little bit when you said getting older and wiser. I mean, you're younger than me. If you're getting older, that means I'm getting much older.
Just
Um,
physically, because sometimes you take some hits.
that is true. That's why I very much like my side of the microphone, watching you guys play and put your bodies on the line, and then writing an article about it later. It's I like doing that. So it's interesting, and I am curious when you're talking about all of that. You got better at the University of Texas. Now you're on the professional level. We'll talk about Italy in just a moment, but now with preseason in Dallas and now the first couple of games, do you feel like you've kind of reset to almost being a freshman again, of being around players with so much more experience and so much experience at the professional level? Like, what's kind of the mentality been from your perspective, and does it remind you of those early days at Texas?
I would say doesn't remind me of my early days, but I do still fairly like a freshman. I'm new to the team. I'm getting an understanding of everybody, but like I said before, the team has done such a phenomenal job of welcoming me in. Everybody's so great. I've known majority of them for my entire life. So just learning again their personnel. But I think one thing that I truly love about this team is we're challenging each other in ways that we need to be challenged. And everybody's doing that to one another, like pushing each other to do this, pushing each other to do that. And I think that's very important when you have a new team, because we are a new team
Yeah.
and we're here for a new season and it's a new year, which I'm super excited. Year two in the Super League, which is huge. So I think that's been a really important part, is like challenging ourselves, putting ourselves in uncomfortable positions to make each other better. And I think that's what we've done as a team. And everybody's been so helpful, and just hearing their IQs and my IQs and coming together, and like, again, I'm still growing and learning, and I
Right.
know everybody else is too, but hearing people that have played longer than me and hear their wisdom has been such great help. And it's very important to listen to your teammates, and I feel like Dallas Trinity has done such a phenomenal job with that.
And I mean, I think back to the women I've interviewed from Dallas Trinity. Allie Thornton's played in the Champions League in Europe, right? And now
Heck
she's
yeah.
a Golden Boot winner in the Super League. Like, this is the type of talent that Dallas has. Obviously, a playoff team a year ago, and to be in that squad's got to be an incredible honor, and in
Oh,
your
it's a huge
hometown,
honor.
nonetheless.
It's a huge honor because, for example, like Allie, like you said, Champions League, I talk to her about that every day because I think that's so cool. Because when you think about when we're younger, that's one of our goals, to go to Champions League, and that, or to play with somebody from the Champions League. And I
Right.
think now that I have a great friend like Allie and a teammate like Allie, it's just huge, and it's just awesome because I'm like, wow, like you are a legend and you're still a legend. You're in the, like, you're creating so much history, and it's just cool. Like, it's really cool to just see that and
Yeah.
continue it.
I mean, she's a friend of the show. She was amazing when we talked to her live in Dallas. Hopefully, we get the chance to do that again.
Yeah,
Eventually, hopefully, have you on the show in person
I would
down the
love
line.
that. I would
Um,
absolutely love that.
two more questions. I promise to get you out of here
No,
on
no, you are
these.
good.
I'm curious about Italy. You had if I call it an escapade. It wasn't this long thing, but you spent some time there. You played and trained with a very, very well-known club in Italy. Can you talk about this and what did you learn from this experience?
Yes, I absolutely loved my experience in Italy. It was amazing, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity. It was, again, like I said, I played with women from all over, and I had a dream goal since I was a little kid, play in Italy, and I played for Parma Calcio, which was huge. Like that's a very well-known club in Italy. It's very intense, I'll tell you that, with fans. It was just cool to have that moment, but achieving my goal, I think that was pretty cool. One, for my experience, but being there and being with women from like all different international teams and playing at Juve, or this individual played at Barca, and then you all come together and you work as a unit and see what you guys are creating, I think is so huge. And yeah, it was really cool. And I felt like I grew as a player, but I also grew as an individual. My individual aspect was I stepped out of my comfort zone, and it's very scary to take that risk because you don't know is what was over there. But it
Right.
was probably the best risk I've ever taken, and it was so worth it because I got to learn that, you know, I am more than just a player. I love soccer and it's my whole world, but it's not my identity. And so kind of taking a step back and enjoying the moments in Italy, because there's people in life that want to travel there but don't get the opportunity. But I was given that opportunity, and I think that's just a really important like thing to take back with me and realize, hey, I'm doing something that I didn't think I ever would. And
Yeah.
I'm here. And it's been that was awesome as an individual and experiencing moments that I was like, I'm on a boat in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. I think that's where it is. And I'm like, wow, like what? You don't really see that in Dallas, but you do on the lakes. But like it's a different living style, so that's pretty cool. But as a player, like I said, you grow in knowledge, you grow into the tactical aspects because in Europe they're very technical and tactical, and so you learn different styles of play. And like I said, soccer is evolving. And so now that I am understanding different styles and adapting and learning, you're prepared for any situation given to you because soccer is not just one lineup and one formation.
Yeah.
It's evolving, especially in the women's realm. And I think that was very important for me to take away for my soccer style. And I absolutely loved it and wouldn't trade it for the world.
Just a girl from a two-stoplight town north of Dallas.
There you go. Shaking it up in Italy. And I was shocked to see how many Texans actually were out there. I saw a couple of them.
Yeah. It's you find the most random things in Italy. People
Oh,
go there and
100%.
you don't ever hear about Italy in the news, so I guess it's a great place to go and be low key.
It is awesome.
Um, Italy just kind of stays out of the way. They do their own thing and they enjoy some good wine and some good pizza and some good pasta.
Oh, the
Um,
pasta was great.
if
Very
I
well.
ha- if I had time, like we didn't have time constraints, I'd ask you about the food. Maybe we could do that off camera. But
Yes, for
um,
sure.
the the last thing I want to ask you, it circles back to what we talked about at the very beginning, this game day experience and this historic Cotton Bowl that you guys are so. I mean, it's amazing. Like I made it a point, and you can ask Luke, who is joining us for the conversation. Like I base practically, like I will do anything to make sure that we get to do our show here because it means that much to me, and I'm not even local, right? So to be in that atmosphere, to be in that stadium, what can you tell people about that from the atmospheric perspective, and what would you urge? What would you use to urge people to come see you guys play?
Yeah, come out and see us play. It's amazing. Like Riley said, we're in the Cotton Bowl. There is so much history um, in that little, not little, it's a big stadium, but there's so much history that is in the ground there. And I think it's very important to see more history being created, which is with us at Dallas Trinity. And I think, like I said, the fans, the atmosphere, just the lights under the night, it's just huge. It's a surreal moment, and it everybody goes crazy. Being in that maroon and gold, it's beautiful. And then seeing the stadiums fill up with maroon and gold, and you could be there too with maroon and gold and just feel the electricity, feel the atmosphere, feel it's just it's one of those words where you can't describe, but it's just a great feeling. And that's why I encourage people to come out because it's it's on a Saturday night, you're having fun, you're under the lights, you're experiencing history being made, and you get to be part of it. And that's what we're encouraging. You're a part of our history. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm excited to see more and more people. We keep getting bigger and bigger crowds, and it's just really incredible to be inspiring the younger generation and encouraging them to take that chance and to never stop giving up on your dreams. And so that's what we have created at Dallas Trinity and continue to create. And I'm very proud to be a part of this team.
And you might see fireworks.
Oh, you will see fireworks. That exactly. Electric, fiery, awesome. Like, how cool is that? And you don't see that a lot in stadiums unless you're at a baseball game. So I think
you gotta drive all the way to Arlington to go watch baseball in Dallas. You don't have to do that.
And it's like you're in the Cotton Bowl, and then you see like just being where, like I said, where rivalries happen, like the OU Texas, you have the World Cup, like you're sitting in history.
Yeah.
And then you're seeing history being made by watching us as a women's team. And I love my teammates, and they're great. So I encourage you to come watch us play because of how great we are as players, but also how great as people we are. Like, it's just awesome being around people that are awesome, you know?
Yeah. I mean, how many Texas legends have been in that building? Players like Vince Young and Colt
Earl
McCoy.
Campbell. Yeah, Colt McCoy, Sam
Earl
Ellinger,
Campbell. Yeah.
you name it, they were there.
Lauren. I mean, come on. You talk about Texas legends that have played in this building. It's amazing. And it's truly a special place in American culture when it comes to sports. And I did a whole show about it, kind of the outro towards the end of our Dallas show that we had earlier this season. But truly a special place, and it's going to be occupied by a lot of soccer in the coming years with the Dallas Trinity and obviously Atletico Dallas coming in 2027 on the men's side, and quite possibly the first division, depending on some application stuff. We'll get there down the line. But right now, soon, you can watch Dallas Trinity. So
Heck yeah.
Thank you, Lauren, so much for coming to hang out with us. You were probably the most bubbly player we've had on the program.
Thank you.
So you have a fantastic rest of the season. Please stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Always a great pleasure to work with the folks from the Dallas Trinity. From initial email to execution of recording took 5 days, which is a record a lot of the time when it comes to the early days of a season. So we're super thankful for their hard work. Lauren made time for us today. That's amazing in and of itself. Like I said, the early days of a season can be very, very busy. So we're super, super grateful to be included in that schedule. If you like us, you can get in touch with us on the internet. My name is Riley James, IAC, on Instagram and X. The Instagram account for this show is at USL on Goals. The parent company is at goals.tv and Instagram at goals_TV on X. And many great creators making great content about the world of soccer and everything in it, including the entire catalog of my show, which is available on www.goals.tv. That will do it for us. Thank you so much to everyone for watching the program. For Lauren Lapomarda, my name is Riley James. If anyone cares, we'll see you again next week.